elevations and all that.
Yeah, there's, yes, there.
So in case,
I could follow the instructions.
yeah, so in case, when you are there, like you and Steve have to navigate for the other ones, I highlighted which things you just have to do. It's really simple. You basically just click on the EZA menu to get it started. I got to update the instructions to show things, but it'll be just fine. And then have it go live on YouTube if you want to go down that path. You don't have to,
Okay,
but I'll make it work.
okay, I know you are, you're a miracle. I actually had to use my iPhone today to do the minutes for planning commission because I'm getting old, my hearing is just not what it
Not
is.
strong needs to be.
That's great.
Anymore.
Not saving the garage, rather. And okay.
Chris is coming on Zoom. Yeah, I've been working on agents and gardens. I can't stand it out that sun.
I guess, I mean, we're just standing out there, the beats down.
It's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
I sit on the grass, I'm sitting on the grass and go, oh my God, I can't stand this.
And I mean, I always said I was meant to be closer to the equator. I'm not a big fan of winter, but I'm certainly, I don't like sweltering hot when you walk out, you know, you go to the door and it's like a vacuum, sucks the life right out. So we have you.
Michelle, Bill Carroll, yeah, and Leslie,
Okay, so just four.
was just one.
Okay. So we're stuck there. All right.
Which are my way Facebook does.
I don't like Facebook, I used to use it a lot for, marketplace. So, and I was a collector, an investor, and a reseller of American Girl dolls. And I have people coming from all over, and people just started, I mean, it's a real particular type of community. And they can get really, really nasty. And they want it all for nothing. My job was to try to do it where it is affordable. And people were just horrible. So I ended up doing like yard sales. And my aunt lives on the corner of Northern and Crofton. Best yard sale I ever had last year, $2,300 in a day for my dolls. And I have a few more to get rid of. Done. Thank the Lord. Because with my husband being sick, it's like I just don't have time to put into it. So. Great. So
My cousins, one lives in Chicago, the other lives in Nashville, Franklin, Nashville. They're on Etsy.
oh wow.
They have a business, one's north, one's south.
Nice.
Selling just odds and ends, stuff they pick up and sell. My cousin in Nashville, who paid to pay for a trip to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. People, you can take, my mom is super, super duper talented. She makes Carol Brady look bad. She quilts, she does just about everything. And she's super creative and she makes beautiful handmade jewelry. She quilts and she sews and all this other stuff. You could just make a killing off of that. She said, I just have to do it. It's when you have to start working for it, it takes the fun out. It kind of takes the fun out of it, you know.
Yeah, which means
I'm creative as well, just not quite like my mom. I don't have what it takes to do the sewing, and I guess I could do it, but I can do it. She really wants me to, but I think maybe I'll have my daughter sit with her and do it. And, some rugs, my husband made a room for her, so. And she gave me a small room for my birthday, and I think she's going to show me how to just leave those on me some rag rugs and like that stuff.
yeah, well, she said she, I thought she said she was.
And I'll see you shortly.
I'll be here. Right here,
No, where do I need to be?
right here.
Okay. Yeah.
They will ask you to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it's just me today.
Yeah, oh, you got them?
No, Victoria.
Okay.
Well, that's what they told me, it was just me. I don't know, maybe not.
The signs on the windows?
No, fence. The fence.
Is that from last meeting? This is interesting.
Okay. I turned it in, I swear.
Fence where?
On Oakville Avenue,
Keep talking.
just the side of my yard on the driveway, just didn't leave the rest of my fence. When I bought the house, it, didn't have that part. So I have dogs, so I want to finish it out for them so that they can roam around.
What's your address?
19, like right in the middle.
Oh, wait, okay, I live at 926.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just need, literally just from the, like, end of my deck to the corner of my garage. It's not even,
Wooden fence?
yeah, just matches the rest of my fencing. Fencing company's gonna come and do it. And, yeah, I don't know why it wasn't done before ever, but I never had one there. At least as long as I lived there, so. Shouldn't be.
When we moved in,
Uh-huh.
before there was a historic district, I put chain link.
Ooh, can't do that now, can you?
Uh-uh.
And they, do you still have it? Yeah.
On one side was covered with wisteria, everything else you can think of.
So you can't really see it? Yeah.
The other side is hidden by tree shrubs. You can't see much of it. In the back,
Mhm.
we have a dog-eared wooden fence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just need it to match the rest of what I have. I don't even know how long my existing fence has been there. So I've been there 8 years, and I'd say it's been there quite a while before me. So. Just a little bit to finish it out.
I don't know anything, believe me. I make it a point. Oh, my wife said she's taking this.
So, my daughter got married, to Michigan. She's so careful. So careful. You just see them coming. Don't try to do one before everything. Raise a couple.
And kids and a husband.
used to, so.
She, I never say, grandmother, which is an eligible use because of response.
Mhm.
So my daughter is the same kind of overreactive system. And so, everybody else is being just
Well, it's just-
we just this money.
We're just reading this last night, so on the news, so baseball game between Cleveland and Chicago was canceled, postponed because of COVID. The Cleveland team won.
I don't think it's COVID like directly responsive experience. Congested communities, this is a really.
You're for the Minnesota.
Okay. I guess I'm not, dependent on everything, it's policy that I'm doing around here. I just needed for a small fest. That's it.
It's an excellent.
I sent my stuff to Amy and she said,
Where's the property located?
"Look at the lemon."
Okay.
I have it, I got it with me. If you wanna-
Actually, yes.
Just in case, yeah. Just go back and ideas and post it on. Coaching.
Referee, I had a tournament last week.
Hey, Deb.
Now that.
How do you find
When did you?
I haven't been assigned anywhere yet.
Right on for summer plans or something, or you just,
We're going to New York in
So
June.
wooden, like, graphics, fence.
We're going to
That's what
Maine.
they, that's what the fence is called.
Okay. When we, gets in, I see no problem.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so
We're
my
going
friends,
to
I was
New
here,
York.
at my house, you know, but they didn't do it,
Drive up to
right,
Richmond
so
now.
I'm at the corner of my deck to my garage.
That's get the train.
And
In
I don't
Philadelphia.
have a gate either.
Stay on the train, right in the
Neighbor's
place.
fence to my house, so I'm tired of this.
And we're gonna fly from
Well, I wish we could do
I
that.
just want to
EWI.
for an eight to 9 long.
Yes.
Okay.
hopefully we'll try to see the fuel increases.
Maybe different. It is what it is.
Well, they were offering really good deals. I think I'll have a little license, my check.
The worst part, the worst part's the battle part.
Okay, yeah, one.
Oh, that's, oh, gosh. Almost as much as everything.
It's gonna match the rest, isn't it? It's gonna match the rest of the but I signed it.
I don't.
Because I was.
My grandson graduates from high school, she's doing that.
Wow.
So.
But it shouldn't.
That's about all we have. So
So
I got softball tournaments on weekends.
How is it that you could just go like that? I don't know that I get it.
Now, I work for you.
HTC first.
I don't know everything. I am.
I think I people heard everything else. This is even like that.
I don't play, I just got to play where I do. So that much.
Oh, yeah.
And I do that much.
No, I'm all in 1,000% for nothing.
I was, and now I'm not. It's so much easier just to do something and just take.
I told her, that's what my partner was telling me, but I'm like, I don't check her. If I get up, I have to go, otherwise I'm definitely.
We had,
Like, I'm talking like weird stuff, like
we watched the game there
100 years.
several years ago.
Like, just, but I know that it's
The
easy.
easiest thing. I told her, I said, you know, I said, wait. Not ready. So
Yeah, this is the.
we're going to add a door inside. And wife says, let's get the big door. So I have to take it apart. Then I started putting it back together. I told my wife, "We're going, it's Saturday, we're gonna put it back on that thing." It's heavy.
Oh, that's all right. All he'll do is just.
Our problem is getting somebody to get the door.
Yeah, I'm looking for a banner, I'm looking for all kinds of choices. I can't find anybody to compact, that sounds good. I hope it's not.
Painting by
I'm
Michael,
not on your house or on.
painting by Michael,
Painting by Michael.
he's done some work for us.
Okay.
He's dependent, when he shows up. You might have to get on a little bit about. So, he does, but he does come in, he does the job, shows up, that's the important thing.
Sometimes I think, I like it for a place where I was my boss. And it's, I'm actually your business support every time, people want to use my house, so I'm here, there's a giant response, so I just left that, maybe phone calls, and it's always something that I'm responding. I hope so, and I don't have to actually do it, I have to do this part. Doing it, that's some of the exhaustion. And it literally just knows exactly what's in front of me. It's not, I'm like, oh, I'm really tired, Jason, it's the same thing all the time. That takes a lot of energy.
You know that plan yesterday? When did you submit it?
Here comes the distribution.
2 seconds.
You know what?
On the second.
How long have you been away? We have a. So you were together. So my neighbors were out like. Well, you weren't there. Years ago, we had
I was Michael went.
oh, yes. I can do that. I do. See him and I just.
Yeah, he went. I wasn't here. I was working for,
You were.
okay, thank you.
I remember sitting there trying to enjoy the brother marriages.
We actually had to go to.
So, I was working on that.
Who was out of town? He was here.
What we found was.
We called the place on the corner. And, chasing this guy.
Saying something. Puts it in. One guy's all we need is a lower. It's not. There's something. So we go for better issues more. More of those. He gets us in another screen system. Deep into the outside, deep down.
It was a very good thing.
Yeah, I remember. The original was all that.
Going back.
I'm gonna be honest, we really had it going. I said that was years ago. Sam has well, that's probably. He has
We have a different. I
do have.
So we
I
have.
haven't been to city in 7 months. But the reason. This time. I'm not.
You and I. whatever. It's rare.
Wait, you're
So, somebody does it. So is that a simple- So it doesn't fix all of it. The debit charge for 2 cycles compared to 1. So it's double the getting on that percentage. So the debit charge just registered. That's a good question. And then locus and,
Yeah, so that's my strategy. It's for a while.
we're not sure what, so you think the space, they've all come off.
You also have my book.
Check all, you think they're on the same line. So that's not. That's why I said. So we're recording.
Yeah. I'm getting.
Then you'll have less.
Other meetings. Yeah, she got the.
Contentious part.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Oh. Well, I just got piled up. I was just like, I figured.
Versus, some of that.
Chris, can you hear
John didn't do it. I could be the two.
us? Chris? We're on you. Can you hear
Chris Stewart can hear us. Chris, you're on mute. Unmute yourself and let us know you can hear us.
Hello?
us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Barely hear you from this side.
Chris, say something so we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. You're a little faint on our end.
Okay.
Because we have everybody here. My name is Mike here, Chair, and call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic District Commission to order this 12th day of May 2022. There is a quorum present. Ross Grove, the staff of the commission, and the commission members from the technical folks that they built in accordance with the requirements of the Hagerstown zoning ordinance are all involved in the city of Hagerstown, are available on request by the applicant, and hereby made part of the legal record of each and every application during the day. All decisions rendered are based on the Secretary of Interior standards and guidelines as adopted by the city of Hagerstown. Each decision is made on a case-by-case basis and is not intended to be precedent setting. If you have any cell phones or other electronic devices, please make sure that they have silence. Please note that we are being recorded live on YouTube. There are two types of cases actually going on. One type of case today is the design review. When we get to those, when the case is called, please come to the table from the commission. For the record, please state your name and address. There will be a brief synopsis of your application by our consultant. After that, before it will be turned over to the applicant for any further elaboration. After that, the floor will then be open for discussion by the commission, at which part I render a decision on that particular application. At this time, we do not have any minutes for approval, but we do need to have a adjustment to our agenda. We need to add HDC case 2022-23 for 1018 Oakville Avenue for a fence.
Mr. Chairman, apparently there was some sort of glitch in getting this application process. It appears that we got in prior to the agenda, but did not, or the deadline, but did not make it to the agenda. It's a request for a white wood Gothic picket fence in a backyard, a couple houses away from the nearest intersection. If I had seen it, it would go on consent agenda, which is nothing to it. I have the application here, if you want to look at the exhibit. We're dropping this on you literally as we speak. For the record, you have not seen this prior, I was just mentioning it now. But again, it's super simple, and I had seen it, got it on the agenda, it would go on consent agenda. So if you want to see the exhibit before deciding to hear it this week. Discuss the. On the western east side of the street. As you're heading north toward west, the shopping center. West.
Oh, and then last, okay, thank you.
I think we should.
You honestly probably won't ever see it. It literally is like in my backyard.
Mr. Chairman, I move to add HGC 2022.
Or second,
Second.
any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries. All right. Design review, HDC case 2022-22 for 36 North Fenwick Street for some window lettering. No, we just said.
Do we handle this plan review? We'll get that next one. All right, staff, if seeing that you literally are just now seeing it, staff not comfortable just putting it on consent review. So you'll hear it as a regular case, but at least it's on today's agenda, so you don't. All right, I'm going to accept that. Okay, so this is HDC case 2022-22. The applicant is Donna Jones. Is there someone here representing this case in the audience? Seeing none, which one of those table it for the next meeting?
Any motion to table this particular item?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling HDC case 2022-22 to 16, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carries. All right, HDC case 2022-23 for 1018 Oakville Avenue, Great Fence.
Okay, this is case 2022-23. Property is located at 1018 Oakville Avenue in the Oakville Historic District. Property is a key resource in terms of character of the district, but is not likely to qualify for national register listing individually. The applicant is Victoria Pembroke at the same address. Request is for fencing along the driveway in the backyard. This will be a white Gothic picket fence. I showed you all the exhibit that I will, as far as adding to the agenda, I'll submit to you also you can officially review it. Ms. Pembroke, how tall is the fence?
4 feet.
4 foot tall fence, rear yard, white wood picket, staff recommends approval.
So the fence is right off the corner of the garage.
Yeah, so it'll run from the corner of my deck alongside my driveway to the corner of the garage.
you have anything to add?
Not really, I mean, it's just gonna complete the whole fence. When I moved in, I had most of it, but that's the section that's missing, so it'll literally match exactly what was existing.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I discuss the project plans, property in question, and construction in accordance with these plans. The project is compatible with the character of the district. Items and the fence and the fiber fence, and it's generally in harmony with the architectural guidelines for residential historic districts and the character of zoning properties. Therefore, I move that the HDC grants certificate of appropriateness for the applicant for the case number 2022-23.
For a second,
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Build a fence.
All right, that takes care of the design reviews for today. Workshops. First up, conceptual elevation for the proposed city parking garage on West Main Street.
Good afternoon, it's good to see everybody again. I'm Rodney Tissues, engineer, and our architect, for the parking deck on West 18th Street. So basically, it's part of we're just in the beginning phases of getting this deck designed. Concept we'd like you to see, and we'll like your input so that we can further the design. So that was part of the just use this microphone. Yes.
that's 2-3. Yeah, I'm Jennifer Greenlee, architect of Newcomer Associates. Happy to be here this afternoon. Just to give everybody a little bit of bearings on the site. Antietam Street, to the south. So, and Harold Vale is half a block this way, Jack Hotel is half a block this way. District Court is the dashed footprint here to the south. So that's the overview, and then the garage plan itself. This has north rotated, so Antietam's here at your left. And this is a rectangular structure. The intent is to have all entry of the garage come from the north on Library Alley, with exiting down to Antietam. The cultural trail is here at the bottom of the drawing. So you'll see we're kind of emphasizing and focusing this corner where the trail intersects into the street. The emails with any of my narratives get around to the board members or not? Just,
All you have to say, plan the elevation.
okay, all right. We'll do a quick look at the black and white, but if you've seen the color view, it's a lot more fun, it tells the story more, but here's your Antietam Street south elevation and the cultural trail elevation, the two primary faces of the building. With this particular location, and kind of a hodgepodge on this street between various types of architecture, the Harold Vale concrete structure, and then the steel glass frame in the corner. There is some red brick, and then the district court building in the 2 or 3 beige tone brick that will sit opposite the cultural trail. So our effort here, you've seen the rendering, is kind of bring back a red brick warehouse kind of look. So it has that downtown, kind of a simple building, maybe with some pilasters, and use that as a backdrop. So if we're trying to celebrate Hagerstown and downtown, big signage at the top, Hub City Garage. So this view
will be visible as you're coming up the trail from the new stadium. So trying to kind of echo down the stadium location and that new construction and let this corner kind of still celebrate being downtown Hagerstown. In doing so, we're also picking up kind of the historical side as a train hub, and you'll this kind of super graphic, I call it, with a roundhouse or turntable with a train image centered here. So we have the historical side, and then when we turn the corner, celebrating the sports, the new ball stadium. This would just be a film on glass on the stair tower, and then celebrating the fine arts downtown, this 5-story high dancer in the glass wall of the stair tower at the northeast corner of the building. So again, then this faces the cultural trail with these brick panels supplying backdrop for additional artwork along the trail side. So I think the rendering tells the story the best. I think what tells the story more about the red brick, kind of a simple backdrop. We're trying to make as vertical openings as possible, like old warehouses, big window openings. And this creates all the free area required for our passively mentioned garage as well. So there'll be the typical wall using the red is a thin brick over precast concrete panels. That's how it will be built. But we're bringing a little texture with some metal work. So the guardrails at each window, I think they're running from like 30 inches to 42 inches. There'll be a little bit of painted black steel railing in these window openings. And we're also using like a vertical fin, that might be an aluminum tube, might only be 2 inches wide, maybe 6 inches deep. But we'll see that might be done whether a clear silver color, that'll add some texture, catch some light on this kind of simple brick backdrop wall. This image, I think, helps tell the story. If this is could be a perforated aluminum screen so that the holes let the air flow through, but smaller, denser holes give you a black part of the image, and then we have grays and some whites. But it kind of gives the character of an old newspaper almost. So we have a black and white image in this screen. Then we're suggesting a black and white film image on the glass for the ball player and the dancer beyond. So it's kind of this black-white applied art or graphics to the basic red brick warehouse. That was a lot of words, but I think I hopefully let you know what we're thinking when we put this together. But I think just the rhythm, the punch window openings, and the kind of the solid brick look, should complement a multitude of your downtown buildings, the blocks adjacent.
I want to talk about the circulation wall, just how the deck is going to work.
We'll plan that.
Yeah, sure. We need a place to be able to queue traffic trying to get into that. Let's say there's a baseball game and everybody's coming at the last minute to get into the stadium, people like it, and they would need a place to queue up. So what we decided to do was make the access into the deck, into the deck, all of Library Alley and Hatters Plaza, which is behind the Maryland Theater. So basically, you can get around the deck, you can queue up in both directions, go through your parking, and then when you leave, everybody exits onto 8th Street. The interior of the deck and floors will be relatively flat with a center ramp that takes you up and down to the various floors. So it will be comfortable to park.
And when the coming from the north, entering the garage, the office is right underneath the ramp, so that's facing Antigua Street. This kind of form you see here on the plan.
The trick of the parking deck is to make a nice statement for the community, but also make it obvious that it's a parking garage. So that if you're coming here for a baseball game or any other event around here, you don't know exactly where to park it. Say, oh, that is a parking garage. That's what we're trying to do. be 2 weeks, enter in 2 weeks leaving. So the queuing coming from both directions from Rear Valley to 2 weeks. And then exiting, you could have right hand, like right hand turn on the hand, either left hand, make left hand turn on.
There is a little bit of depth to allow the queuing of the cars, both incoming and exiting. And so the engineers now showing some tree beds, so we will greenery. Front of the building as well. One thing I didn't really mention on the signage itself, with westbound traffic on Antietam and as well as eastbound, there's a banner sign, I'll look at the drawing here in a second, but at this corner, this stair tower, this one shows up as well. So when you're westbound, you'll see Hope City Garage at that corner. And then this parking sign to help, if you have already missed the first entrance, then you'll be able to take the second right, circle around and get into the entrance one right out.
We call it out.
The elevation kind of shows that, so the Hope City Garage also is very visible in the glass as an applied leather film. And then this parking banner, a little bit kind of old school too, something fun with an arrow and that lettering on the vertical sign down here at the corner, at the southwest corner.
I'm sorry, you say there's going to be a sign on both corners or just on the west side?
This signage in the glass.
Oh, in the glass.
Is it in the glass right next to the cultural trail? The three-dimensional, I bought a banner, so vertical sign is wall mounted down at the far corner.
Image of the ball player. Is that a stair tower?
It is a stair tower. So
The plan doesn't really show.
that might be an outdated plan.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm
Right.
looking at that correctly.
Yeah, we've worked on that in the last couple of weeks. We do feel that bringing both stairs here to the cultural trail makes more sense than having a collection point here. Trying to keep that activated. There will be one elevator here at the northeast corner, but if we keep those two stair towers, that also kind of sets up this nice pairing, the towers for all the theater features coming at this corner. Just a quick glance, the north wall is simpler with the red brick, nice signage entering the building. This would be the clear glass in the end, trying to make things look very friendly, a lot of light inside the stairs too. So this would be your view coming from the plaza behind the building. And then the west elevation just stays fairly quiet without any big graphics or activity over there.
In the side towards the courthouse, be fairly open as the court responding.
That's a good question. I talked to them about security and different things like that, and basically their final answer to me was the only thing they're concerned about is people being able to throw objects onto the roof of the courts. So they'd like to see some sort of a barrier on the top floors.
So that might mean the same mesh or security fencing chain link primarily behind the large lettering may run this full extent, Ron, facing the trail, or at least however deep the district court really comes back.
You know, they're getting ready to do a major addition over there to later this year. And I think they're really enhancing the security for the judges and everybody. So I think that kind of takes care of that issue that we don't have to have a solid wall or anything on that side.
Window, this side, on that side.
There are some windows.
But I don't think there's a lot of there. Into anything important.
Would you point out pedestrian movement for when people are entering, are going back to their cars?
So we have the stair tower at the north,
No, I mean, some, when they're.
once you're in the garage, you're saying?
No, when they're walking to the garage, are they coming in and paying, or if they're, this is free, I don't even know anything about this.
I think we will develop signage and the pedestrian entrances here at the Stair Tower, trying to encourage people to use that crossing for the trail and make that the primary. A lot of people default to where my car was, so in this window pattern, some of these may turn into doorways as we get the design developed. Keep a safety pedestrian route here, some of these access aisles. So people who might be coming from the west, who don't want to come all the way around, can still have a safe entrance right there.
So, is this, I'm assuming baseball stadium is sort of a little bit online.
But one of they will be playing baseball in April.
So it's probably scheduled something like this being coordinated with the baseball stadium.
Yes. Yes, this is like a 14-month build project, so we hope to get it out to bid later this year. Under construction date by the end of the year, and then everybody can see. They're a little bit more too, so they got all.
We've had some preliminary discussion about trying to complementary brick or signage direction. They may do something similar with this cantilever signage at top. So they'll kind of talk to each other a little bit, the two developments.
You had mentioned something I read about a little narrative that was in one of the application. In their selection of the two banners you have, and you mentioned, not for the train, the two in the stairwell, that they were some kind of attachable material that's going to change out at some point.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go and finish your question.
Oh, well, I was just wondering, now you've chosen two depictions there for the Hub City garage, and I wondered if there were other, if they were to ever be replaced, I don't know, by the time on something like that. For interchangeability and cost considerations, is that all part of your discussions?
We're just getting into that. So I need to research films and whether they're applied on the interior face, but it could be changed, or whether they're less likely to be vandalized if it can be a weather type exterior application. But it would be not part of the glass unit itself.
And then, other than the decision making with what goes on there, we have had these materials on downtown projects, and they're not permitted in the historic district, so I don't even know those.
That was the next question I was getting ready to ask Steve. How are we going to treat?
Keep in mind, this is essentially farm. There's also new construction buildings, so it doesn't do the character of this. The materials that you're referring to as is prohibited over a certain amount of window, but it's applied to it as being a sign, advertising the business. This is different. This is not advertising.
That's what I was thinking is both of those entities are businesses on different kinds of platforms, and I just don't want, I want to be clear about all of that in the process.
Actually, I was going to mention that, staff would say that whatever illustration or picture should be generic enough where they're not directly advertising a specific location. For example, a baseball player, if they found a picture from a baseball player in the 1920s or something like that, one of the old Gators teams, it's obviously not whatever the name of the team is, it's not that. So it's generic enough, we pass off that.
And same with theater, I mean, whatever the theater is, and sad faces or whatever that depiction is, this is preliminary, I want to make sure that we
On the right
are on
track.
the right track of all of it.
We did actually consider the mask, the tragedy comedy mask, but once we had the idea of the ball player, the dancers seem to compliment. And I'll tell you, this is my nephew, so the ball player, Eric's gonna show trademark brief about him, he lives in Chicago. But I haven't shared this yet. I think they'll be excited to see him sell 5 stories.
As far as the gallery, there's more than one theater downtown.
Hang on.
So that's a little more flexible, whereas we're only gonna have one baseball team, so that one's a bit more focused. But the idea would be that they need to be discernible specifically as article orientation, not an actual sign for any particular business.
And it would be the city's decision of whether it should be more permanent, or you want that changeability. And, that could be a staff discussion.
Something change periodically, it's gonna have to keep coming back here, so because it is a change to the information, so you have to weigh that, if that's something.
Is that true for artwork as well? If you change art display, is that?
The large display is part, but this is actually embedded as part of the design of the building, so I think it would be subject to HPC review. But how frequent would that be? My guess is it would be very frequent.
Given the size and cost, I don't think we can come back every month.
Yeah,
It's maybe 10 years out before we be back.
Yeah, it's not going to be something that would be frequent. So, and frankly, it's replacing one screen on a window on an existing building anyway. That's a non-true building. That would end up with incentive.
And could you also elaborate on the train section? Are there windows that are facing in front of?
Yeah, so, and I should say, this is an image we just pulled, I think it's a photograph of a model of the train museum now. But this could be any image, be it just a locomotive, or, we kind of like the hub and the,
No, I meant material and is it on top of the?
yeah, this is a screen, so it's offset outside the face of the brick. These same window patterns would run behind it for the ventilation. But this would be on a frame, I think it's like 4x8 panels. So these screens come and they're fastened to that structure. So it's almost like a sign mount for the installation process.
That considered part two.
Picture of the southern logo or something like that. And I think we might be getting a sort of photograph because our grant house doesn't stand. So, if they go with a picture of sort of picture of the grant house, it's sort of picture of the we have more than one railway running through town, so as long as it doesn't promote any one of them. Gotta play fair. We do it for one railroad, you gotta do it for the others.
The stair towers, that's all precast.
Yeah, there'll be precast columns, precast stairs, so there will be white precast beams behind the curtain wall, the glass system will bypass that. This looks kind of dark in the rendering, but it would be clear glass, so this would be kind of lit up as a tower, kind of a nice wayfinding tower, this intersection. And the same clear glass on the north face towards the in the theater.
And the size of this building, this location, it's going to be a visible streetscape feature for people sitting on the first base line other than in Ball Stadium. I believe this will be able to look right up through the trail past the Carroll Mill building. So it's going to be something that people sitting there watching the ball game, it'll be visible that over the left field wall.
Because
If it televised, we get some more branding or marketing. Let's see, it shows up in the background.
Five, four.
Five stories, so this is the 42-inch guardrail. There's something
Separate
that
parking
goes up.
lot is open. completely open.
385 spaces.
We did a parking study of looking at how many stations in capacity and how many parking spaces are available in downtown, what would be needed. And I'd be happy to share that. We presented at the mayor council, kind of came up with a range of how much parking we need. This is about 20% of the parking that's needed for the south end of the state, 5,000. But this is the convenient one, because this would be, I would think, where people would pay the highest amount of money to go to. But you could also park the A&E deck, the university deck, any of our surface lots. And really, the goal of the stadium is to get people out in the downtown.
Any other questions?
the only other question I have, which is outside our board, is for females point of view, it's always with these garages is the safety aspect, especially if you're traveling alone or you're late getting your car or whatever, even though you're right next to the station. Even so, just how you're moving people around for that safety inside the facility and.
Yeah, we're working really hard still with our structural design, but we have a electric room and a water room on the first floor, but once you get upstairs, I'm trying to keep these whole stair towers, they don't need to be enclosed for code. So this whole side will be open, so there won't be a tucked in corner or even a door or a stair tower.
We just had a little bit meander these people cameras, that trespass, and aren't supposed to be there, and it's just a concern.
It'll be a closed circuit TV system, LED lighting, and open staircases. Pretty things like that.
Probably move it off that skyways at all.
That's still possible. There's a possibility, and I think they were opposite. But the Hager 5 has asked for the potential for a elevated walkway or a skyway from the north face of the deck, across Library Alley to their building, to the second and third floor of their building. And then there's a second request that we have from Azadi to have a similar situation, everything the Shockey building, I believe, on the west face. Neither one of those would be in this contract. We're just trying to design a deck that would allow that to happen in the future. It's they want to pay for it. They get all the approvals that they need. I'm thinking that it's going to be more expensive and more costly than it's worth for them, but we're going to try to accommodate this.
What about that same type of connection to the courthouse?
Yeah.
Because
They haven't asked for that, but I guess that's always potential. And I reached out to their architect. They feedback on that.
We'll probably create another requirement for having a security man. That's the number we need to look.
Yeah. That's probably why. It probably doesn't flow well with their security system, which is pretty significant.
I have one more question that's, again, maybe outside of it, as far as the perimeter on the Washington side. When the Maryland Theater went in and the school went in, and there's a lot of talk about moving those big trucks around for loading gear. And with this in place, is there, could you just, for our purposes, the sake of, is there room anticipated back there for this movement in the cemetery or something?
There is, and actually last time I was down there, so I stopped here and they had the big lift and they were unloading and there was still plenty of clearance beyond that truck as it was parked. The plaza actually shifts up in here some. And so I think whether they were loading in the theater, maybe this corner, but yeah, I still can move around with my car. It's
Because I
fine.
know that was a big issue when the designs were coming forward about all that egress.
Drive over there now and look at it. Hatters Plaza is a wide open expanse
Okay,
over there, and cultural trail kind of creeps through there.
okay.
It's all finished. So ribbon cutting's on Saturday. So check it out. 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. So check it out. And it's Eric and I, our public works director, have been kind of watching it. A little bit worried about how everybody's going to play in the same sandbox over there. Because you have back of the house for the Maryland Theater, you have back of the house for this, you have back of the house for the county. So far, it seems like it's going okay. And
So far,
it's better than it was before. You know, when Willie Nelson comes to play at the Maryland Theater, he can park his bus right there, as is required by his contract. They can't be more than like 100 feet from the building. So we do have a place to accommodate that. It's really nice.
I like the exterior brick personally. I think it really fits in with the history of this town, what we're seeing here. Look, and it's a kind of, gives a lot of different decades too.
I do have samples ordered, they're not here yet. You all may not have noticed, but a lot of times precast work, the thin brick has to be really sharp edges to work in their molds and their layout, but there's a new profile called vintage brick, so it looks a little tumbled. has a little softer edge. So I'm getting samples of that, and a couple different reds, so we'll see which direction. There might be a little bit, just for some extra interest, this might be a black or a charcoal brick. And again, whether it kind of echoes back a little bit, but maybe it's a smooth brick or a different face, just for these accent bands, you know, just to dress it up with a little bit of line work.
And I will tell you the films, on universities, basketball games last outside of they use those films and they change them every 5 years. Believe it or not, it's a dramatic change and they change it. So you'd be surprised in 5 years. Some people would say, what's going on down there? So I like the films.
We have one more for a few minutes and 32 Potomac. That's what it is. Now, Dan, do you have any introduction to the project?
Not really, I'll try to come up with something. I'm Jim Bender, the assistant city engineer. The city's project manager for this project. So former MSC Bank building, the city has acquired the property, and the plan is that certain city operations that would have to city hall now will be down there. Mainly the customer service area on the first floor, building functions, and there is another department, economic development, is actually housed right now in the Hager Center. They would occupy the second floor of this work, but Jennifer and her team are trying to figure out how to renovate the exterior of the existing building to serve the needs of the city, and also with an eye to keeping it open and accessible to the public.
And so the main part of this project is an elevator tower addition. And for your variance, here's North Potomac. And the bank is shown here in this outline. This gray tone, so there's an open porch now. A lot of people use that to get to an ATM machine for MT back here, and this one is south face. But so we are enclosing the porch to pick up more interior area and then adding an elevator tower facing south. And we'll take a quick look at that. You know, I think this is originally the 1976 building with a 1997 renovation over the years. So it's a little eccentric with a big mansard roof on it and these dormers, which it might be real copper. If you, next time you go by it, looks like a patina of green color on the dormers. And there's currently dark green metal at the cap of the mansard now. But it's a beige range of brick tones currently. So with this tower addition, and I'll start here entering the property. When we enclose that porch, we'll bring a very similar storefront, just glass aluminum framing to fill in between the piers that are open porch now. And then there still will be an M&T ATM, which will have a service door and their machine and a brick wall that's there now. So then when you enter the property, this elevator tower can become a signboard for the agencies that will occupy the building. There's one other monument sign just past this drive. But our theory on this one is we're just kind of extracting the dormer profile to turn it into this elevator tower. So you see this shape. It's not a full half round that tight of a radius to require a flattened arch on that. And so if this elevator tower comes out, probably 10 feet, plus or minus. The intent is to use a masonry brick for the main tower. And as we stretch this dormer out, probably work with that dark green color. So it might be a little bit of metal siding and a metal standing seam roof to pick up on that patina green copper of the current dormers. The tower is basically kind of balanced by, this is an alternate, depending on budget, a new dormer for more daylight in that second floor. But it picks up the same materials, the same radius on that new standing seam roof. But using one of the brick ranges, some samples, but this will still be the tan family and complement the range of brick on the existing building for these corners. This might be more of a cast stone look or a lighter masonry panel that would be used for accent here, and maybe a surround for a new city kiosk, ATM type machine for some durability there. I think that's pretty much the overview of this. But essentially, it's the elevator addition. We are trying to keep materials lightweight as we're tying into that existing roof frame instead of trying to hang masonry over that profile. So that lightweight metal siding lets us do that pretty gracefully.
Eric, could you talk a little bit about the relocated MT ATM and what it would look like from the street?
Okay. And I didn't bring that, we did a rendering, which originally we had the M&T here at the Central Bay, but a better floor plan for the city has been generated. And M&T, I think, has agreed verbally that they'll ship north, but they'll still have an illuminated sign and probably their, if you look at the building now, it's kind of a green logo surround around the machine. So that their same signage panel would happen where the brick wall is now. With the door, they're completely independent. Their people just use this door only. They have no other access to the building from this.
So the ATM, you would be standing in the public sidewalk up front.
Correct. So if we have to modify for ADA, a level enough landing so that brick wall, get some modification to probably level it out and then slope it back down again. Kind of, right now, it's one continuous fall.
Your design guidelines talk about ATM units not being on the front sides. However, this is a non-contributing building.
Is it considered a business that would be as applicable to signage considerations as well?
All signage is subject, yeah. Is there a way it's recessing vestibule where you join the door to get to the ATM?
Well, our floor plan is pretty maxed out to try and get the agency in on the first floor now. It's very tight. They're in about a 10 by 10 room, and that was the minimum per the agreement with the building transfer.
And staff's not saying anything, we're just pointing out in the design guidelines, it does recommend that against having them on front facades, but this is not historical.
Oh, building still somewhat recessed off the street. That face of the building isn't all the way out to the edge of the sidewalk or the adjacent building right there, so. I mean,
It is pretty tight here, Mike, on the, when you close the porch.
Yeah, I'm
you
thinking
got
of the
property.
porch, and that's why I think recessed.
I think too, with the ATM, there's a lot of competing design issues there. You know, they want visibility, they want security.
And safety.
At the same time, I think that there's going to be moved away from enclosures, vestibules, because they're used by people. So.
I know in some of the earlier materials that we presented, had like an alternate design on the tower. So this
And it was
is
a little more contemporary. So staff like this kind of a little more traditional profile. I thought you guys would like it better too.
And the drive-through is going to stay, that's going to actually be a full window for our building department, if people want to figure what to build. The drive-through for that.
I need to go back to the ATM, you clarify. Would that be then considered, regardless of the agreement, a tenant inside of the building or renter inside of the building? When we talk about signage, how does that, where is that?
We don't differentiate between tenant, renter, or owner. Depends what the activity is. The zoning ordinance, and it's the signage on buildings anywhere. It's not just an HPC issue. So signage in the building have to comply with the same signage requirements that the other building district. Design guidelines are a little bit more strict on signage, but not much. I'd say that as far as, it wouldn't matter if it's a sign that says Hagerstown City Government or MT Bank, sign it.
And that's the next step, that their sign in this area works out. Place forward.
Do you have any hearing comments? I read the notice, it's got to be.
But it's so kind of distinct, or the shapes and the roof shape, you know, how it makes this thing quiet, but still be attractive and work with the background that we have.
If you're on right back.
I appreciate the feedback.
All right. We have a new business moving forward. Does anybody have anything to get on?
Yes, I sent out an email yesterday. I've only heard back officially from one member. A short preservation project flew under our radar. I wanted to see if you're okay adding that to the list of boundaries next week. We rebuild the wine cellar out at City Park. City Engineer's office. Basically, put it through the apartment back. So, I didn't see it.
Nice. So my point is that. Open it up so we can walk in, get a bottle of water.
There you go.
Anything else?
All right.
Any old business? Any announcements?
The park is going to be cutting 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. The pack sign is up. The fence is away. So while you're here downtown, you might want to walk over and speak at it. And we're working on one of the interpretive panels are in. There's going to be a couple more going in that area over the next few months. And also the interpretive panel that's there as part of on the template of the art strip. It's different than the Civil War panels that we have around town. So there's a QR code, we're working on a little bit, video, 2-minute video on the history of the site with the upgrade battery and all. We're going to have a placeholder, a rough version, probably up by the weekend. But Eric in our media department, he's going to be massaging it over the time. It'll take it perfect. He wants to have something, or somebody goes up and does a QR code, they actually have something to look at this weekend. So he's rushing to get it in place, essentially a rough draft available for posting.
Anything else? All right. All right. So moved. Appreciate everybody's time. Thanks, Chris. See you the next meeting, which is May 26th.
Money doesn't stop. So
I know it comes down to all that though.
I've already got it first.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I finally got them all through college. And then after that.
Oh, so you got grandchildren first there and then,
Good.